Tabby Star is a star that was identified by the Kepler spacecraft. It's basically a very weird star. It's a very strange star. What this star showed is something very, very large and very, very dark appeared to be passing between us and the star. It's not a planet because we know that it's not round and it doesn't orbit at a fixed period.
Picture yourself gazing up at the night sky, staring at a distant star that's been puzzling astronomers for more than 100 years. Tabby Star isn't your typical twinkle in the heavens. It's more like an ancient riddle that scientists have been trying to solve for generations. This star has a weird habit of getting dimmer, and it's been driving experts crazy for ages. But here's the big question that's been floating around. Could aliens have built something around this star? Are we about to uncover a secret that's been hidden for centuries and might have come from outer space? Before answering these questions, let's see how it all started. In 2011, some curious people, not professional scientists, were looking at data from NASA's Kepler telescope. Kepler's job was to find planets by watching stars closely. It could be spotted when a planet passed in front of a star and made the star's light dim briefly. But among all the stars Kepler watched, one stood out. It was named KIC 8462852, but people often call it Tabby's star. The dips in brightness it showed were weird. They didn't fit the pattern that planets make. Scientists were puzzled. They couldn't find a good reason for Tabby's strange behavior. Some ideas came up, like a bunch of comets around the star, a dusty cloud around a hidden black hole, or even something from our own solar system causing the trouble. But one idea caught everyone's attention. Tabby Star is located within the Cygnus constellation, approximately midway between the prominent stars in Deneb and Delta Cygni, forming a part of the Northern Cross asterism. If you trace your gaze southward from 31 Cygni, you'll find Tabby Star. And if you shift your view slightly northeast from the star cluster NGC 6866, you'll encounter it as well. It's worth noting that while Tabby Star appears close to NGC 6866 in the night sky, it's actually unrelated to the cluster and is situated closer to the Sun than the star cluster. Tabby Star has a brightness level known as its apparent magnitude of 11.7. This means it's too faint to see without any special tools or equipment. You can't spot it just by looking up without any help. However, if the sky is really dark and clear, and you have a small telescope that's about 5 inches wide or 130 millimeters, you can see it. But this only works if you're in a place where there aren't a lot of other lights around, like in the countryside where there's not much light pollution. In 2015, a scientist named Jason Wright suggested something wild. Maybe huge alien structures were causing the strange dimming. It was a thrilling thought, and it got a lot of attention from the media. People all over the world started talking about it. Andrew Simeon, a scientist who studies space signals, thinks people got so interested because they all share a common question. Are we alone in the universe? So what are these alien megastructures? They're not like spaceships or laser guns from science fiction movies. Imagine them as enormous structures built by super advanced aliens. One idea is a Dyson Sphere. This would be like a big shell around a star to capture its energy. If aliens were building something like that, it could explain why Tabby Star is acting so strange. But there are other ideas, like gigantic solar panels or giant homes that cover entire star systems. These ideas make us rethink what's possible out there in space. Fueled by a growing interest, teams of committed scientists dug deep into the data that spanned more than 100 years. They were searching for patterns that might help explain why a certain star kept getting dimmer in a puzzling way. At first, it seemed like the star's brightness changed roughly every 800 to 1500 days, which suggested there might be debris orbiting around it. Although scientists now have doubts about this idea, other data indicated that apart from these regular dimming events, the star was gradually getting fainter over time, and this is also being questioned now. Astronomers went to great lengths, even using one of our planet's most sensitive radio telescopes to listen for signals from an intelligent civilization. that might be capable of building massive structures that could occasionally block some of the star's light. But despite their efforts, they heard nothing. In short, none of the explanations seemed to match the data they had. So, Tabitha Boyajian, the astronomer connected to the star, took matters into her own hands. She started a Kickstarter campaign that raised over $100,000 and used various ground-based instruments. Her mission? To catch the star in the act of dimming and get a closer look at whatever might be blocking its light, all in real time. The observation campaign started in March 2016 and continued until December 2017. Then in May of the following year, Boyajian got lucky. The star began to dim. Almost immediately, nearly a dozen Earth-based telescopes pointed at it, with scientists eagerly collecting data across different kinds of light. After several months and 4 distinct dimming events named Elsie, Celeste, Scarabray, and Angkor, the star disappeared from view for telescopes in the northern hemisphere. It was quite surreal to see it happening in real time and finally achieve what we've been talking about for years, observing it during a dimming event, she said. Now, Boyajian and a group of more than 200 collaborators have carefully studied data from the past 22 months. Their findings, published in the astrophysical journal Letters, suggest that dust is causing the star's dimming. They have ruled out the possibility of alien megastructures. The team reached this conclusion because whatever is causing the dimming is not a solid massive structure. If a huge solid object like a megastructure had passed in front of the star, it would have blocked out light evenly across all wavelengths, explained Boyajian from Louisiana State University. But our observations don't support that. Instead, the dust seems to filter different colors of light, like looking at starlight through a delicate see-through fabric, rather than a rigid frame of quadanium steel. Megastructures were always a long shot, but it's important to acknowledge their role in the history of this investigation. The idea had to be explored, said Stein Sigurdsson from Pennsylvania State University, who first proposed the idea of a debris-covered black hole. Now, here's where it gets even more puzzling. The star doesn't dim in a predictable way like you'd expect if there were a neat clump of material orbiting it. Instead, it dims with varying intensity and timing, almost like it's playing a cosmic game of hide and seek. But the dust around Tabby Star isn't your typical cosmic debris. These dust particles are even tinier than those in cigarette smoke, and they should be blown away by the star's light. Yet they stick around as if they're hiding a secret of their own. Now, where does all this dust come from? It's like a magic trick. Dust appears seemingly out of nowhere. This makes us think that something big might have happened or is still happening near Tabby Star. But what? Sigurdsson asks a million-dollar question. Why is this star behaving like this? Is it the cosmic troublemaker of the universe? And the most interesting part, if this dust is common, we might be talking about more than 10% of the stars out there pulling similar cosmic stunts. In 2016, Brian Metzger from Columbia University put forward a cosmic idea. He suggested that maybe Tabby Star had a bit of a temper, smashing planets or unlucky moons that got too close. The result? A dusty mess in orbit. Or perhaps it mowed down a swarm of icy objects from deep space. But here's the twist. As exciting as the idea of alien megastructures sounds, the truth is that it's not the work of extraterrestrials. We know that now, but does that mean we've solved the cosmic mystery? Not quite. In the words of Wright, many of these things are intriguing hints, and we're not sure if they're distractions or the key to solving the puzzle. It's like a cosmic mystery straight out of a Sherlock Holmes story. Which clues will eventually lead us to the cosmic truth, and which ones are just cosmic wild goose chases? So there you have it, the baffling story of Tabby Star, a celestial puzzle that keeps our brightest minds guessing. It might not involve aliens, but the cosmic enigmas around it are far from being solved. The universe always keeps us curious, doesn't it? So what do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button if you've enjoyed this